How I changed my life with Stoicism. What if I told you that an ancient philosophy, written down almost 2,000 years ago, completely changed the way I live my life today? I know, it sounds dramatic, but let me be honest. There was a time when I was anxious all the time. I felt overwhelmed at work, I got easily frustrated when things didn't go my way, and I constantly worried about the future. Traffic jams would make me furious. An unexpected bill could ruin my whole day. Even something as small as a rude email or a late reply from a friend would keep me up at night. And if you've ever felt stuck in that cycle of stress, anger, and worry, you know how exhausting it is. It drains your energy, it ruins your relationships, and it keeps you from living fully. I wanted peace. I wanted clarity. I wanted to feel like I was in charge of my life instead of being pushed around by every little event. That's when I discovered Stoicism. And no, I don't mean I just read a few quotes on Instagram. I actually studied it, practiced it, and slowly let it shape the way I see the world. And over time, it transformed me in ways I never expected. So in this video, I want to share exactly how Stoicism changed my life and how it can change yours too. Not in some vague theoretical way, but in a practical, real-life way that you can start using today. Now, before I share my personal story, let's talk about what Stoicism actually is. Because when most people hear the word, they think it means being emotionless. You know, that stereotype of the guy who never smiles, never cries, just a stone-cold robot. But that's not Stoicism at all. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about living in harmony with reality instead of fighting against it. Stoicism began in ancient Greece and was later embraced in Rome. Think of names like Epictetus, who was born a slave and rose to become a great teacher. Seneca, a politician and playwright, who wrote letters full of practical wisdom. And Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who kept a private journal of his thoughts that we now call meditations. What's fascinating is that these men lived in completely different circumstances. One was a slave, one was a wealthy statesman, one was the most powerful man in the world. Yet they all leaned on the same philosophy to endure hardship, stay calm under pressure, and live with purpose. And here's the part that blew my mind. Despite being written 2,000 years ago, their words describe exactly what we go through today. Anxiety, stress, dealing with difficult people, facing setbacks, wondering how to live a good life. Stoicism isn't a dead philosophy, it's a survival toolkit. That's why today you'll find athletes, entrepreneurs, soldiers, and everyday people in the US and all over the world practicing Stoic principles. Because it works. And for me, once I started applying it, the difference was night and day. Let me take you back to before I discovered Stoicism. At that time, my life looked fine on the outside. I had a job, I had friends, I had goals. But inside, I was constantly on edge. I would wake up and immediately feel pressure. 100 emails waiting, deadlines piling up, expectations I could barely keep up with. I was anxious about money, anxious about the future, anxious about things I couldn't even name. The smallest things triggered me. If someone cut me off in traffic, I would stew over it for hours. If a coworker criticized me, I would replay the conversation in my head again and again, imagining all the things I should have said. And it got to the point where I felt like life was controlling me, not the other way around. I was reacting to everything, like a puppet pulled by strings I couldn't see. And if you've ever felt stuck in that cycle of stress, anger, and worry, you know how exhausting it is. It drains your energy, it ruins your relationships, and it keeps you from living fully. I wanted peace. I wanted clarity. I wanted to feel like I was in charge of my life instead of being pushed around by every little event. That's when I discovered Stoicism. And no, I don't mean I just read a few quotes on Instagram. I actually studied it, practiced it, and slowly let it shape the way I see the world. And over time, it transformed me in ways I never expected. So in this video, I want to share exactly how Stoicism changed my life and how it can change yours too. Not in some vague, theoretical way, but in a practical, real-life way that you can start using today. The first Stoic lesson that transformed me is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus put it simply, some things are up to us and some things are not. Think about that for a second. Most of our stress comes from trying to control things we actually can't. I can't control the weather. I can't control what my boss thinks of me. I can't control the economy. I can't control whether someone likes me or not. But I can control my choices, my words, my actions, my perspective. When I first started practicing this, it felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Take traffic, for example. I used to lose my temper every time I got stuck on the freeway. I'd honk, yell, and arrive at my destination exhausted. But once I applied the Stoic principle, I asked myself, is this in my control? No. What is in my control? How I use this time. So instead of fuming, I started listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or just enjoying the quiet. Suddenly, the same traffic jam became an opportunity. This applies to bigger things too. I once applied for a job I really wanted. I did my best, prepared, interviewed, gave it everything. But I didn't get it, and I was crushed. But Stoicism reminded me the outcome isn't in my control. The effort was, and I did my part. That was enough. This mindset doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over things you can't change. So here's a simple exercise. The next time you feel stressed, pause and ask, is this in my control? If yes, take action. If no, let it go. That one question alone can save you years of frustration.
Lesson 2. Reframe adversity as opportunity. The second lesson is about how we see obstacles. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." At first I didn't get it, but then life gave me the perfect lesson. A few years ago, I lost a major client at work. Overnight, my income dropped and my confidence collapsed. I kept asking, why me? Why now? But then I remembered Marcus' words. What if this setback wasn't the end, but the beginning? So I shifted my question. Instead of why me, I asked, how can this make me stronger? That shift changed everything. Losing that client forced me to grow new skills, expand my network, and eventually start opportunities I never would have explored otherwise. This is what Stoicism teaches. Adversity isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. Think of it like the gym. The weights you lift are literally obstacles. They resist you, but it's that resistance that makes you stronger. Life works the same way. And when you start to see struggles this way, you stop running from them. You face them. You learn from them. Here's a practical tip. Start a challenge journal. Every time something goes wrong, write it down. Then ask, what is this trying to teach me? How can this situation make me wiser, tougher, or more compassionate? Do this long enough, and you'll notice that life doesn't break you as easily. Instead, it shapes you. Because the truth is, you can't avoid hardship, but you can decide whether it weakens you or strengthens you. Lesson 3. Daily reflection and gratitude. The third lesson is daily reflection and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as private notes to himself, never meant for anyone else. He wrote to reflect, to keep himself grounded, to remind himself of what mattered. That inspired me to start journaling. At first I thought it was silly, but once I committed, the results were incredible. Every night before bed, I'd write down 3 things. 1. What went well today? 2. What could I improve tomorrow? And 3. what I'm grateful for. That's it. Simple, but powerful. Over time, I noticed patterns in my behavior. I saw where I was wasting energy. I caught myself repeating mistakes. And I also started noticing small blessings, the kind we usually overlook. A good conversation, a sunny day, a moment of laughter. Seneca once said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Reflection helps us make life good. Gratitude helps us see what's already good. And science backs this up. Studies show that people who practice gratitude are happier, less stressed, and even sleep better. So if you want to live more stoically, start journaling. You don't need a fancy notebook, just a few minutes each day to pause, reflect, and give thanks. I promise, this small habit can shift your entire mindset. So, how did these 3 lessons change me? Before Stoicism, I was a ball of stress. I reacted to everything, wasted energy on things I couldn't control, and let small problems ruin big days. After practicing Stoicism, I'm not perfect, but I'm calmer. I bounce back faster. I can sit in traffic without exploding, face setbacks without collapsing, and actually enjoy life more. Stoicism didn't remove problems from my life. Problems still come, but now I don't see them as enemies. I see them as teachers. And that shift from resistance to acceptance, from fear to strength, is what changed me. If I could go back and tell my old self one thing, it would be, you don't control the world, but you do control how you live in it. And that is enough to change everything. So, let's recap. 3 Stoic lessons that changed my life. 1. Focus only on what's in your control. 2. Reframe obstacles as opportunities. And 3. Practice daily reflection and gratitude. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just start small. The next time you're stressed, ask, is this in my control? If yes, act. If no, let it go. Do that one thing, and you'll already be living stoically. Now I want to hear from you. Which Stoic lesson do you want to try first? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to read your thoughts. If this video inspired you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Philosophy for Healing, and share it with someone who might need a little calm in their life today. And remember, life will never stop being unpredictable, but you have the power to meet it with strength, wisdom, and peace. You don't control the world, but you do control how you live in it. And that is enough. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, life will always be uncertain, but you have the power to choose how you respond. That's where real freedom begins. If this video brought you value, please give it a like, subscribe to Philosophy for Healing, and share it with someone who could use a little calm today. Keep practicing, stay mindful, and always remember, you don't control the world, but you control how you live in it. And that is enough. See you in the next video.